Part 2.
Part 2. The second.
Screw Attack Gaming Convention Edition.
Yeah.
Who's this guy behind me here?
Hi, I'm Greg.
You may have heard his voice before.
I don't know if we have.
Have we always edited him out?
I think I generally edit him out. That's my husband. So.
No respect.
I know, none at all. I totally thought I was in at least a couple of the episodes.
I'm so used to you interrupting, so I guess I just assume.
And they've probably heard me clonking around the house a bit, because I'm not very quiet.
I could not edit all of that out in the Skyfall episode. It was bad.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was washing dishes for that one, wasn't I?
And it was funny because we were about to do Iron Man 3, and he was like, "Oh, can I wash dishes during Iron Man 3?" And I was like, "No, you can't wash dishes during Iron Man 3." Which I'm still editing.
I didn't realize it was that loud.
It's very loud. You jerk.
It's not my fault. I didn't know. You should have said something.
I did say something.
No, you didn't.
Anyway, it is Sunday, day 3 of the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. We've been here since Friday. Well, technically, Jack and I came in Thursday night.
Hi.
Yeah, he's over there. Maybe we'll get to see his face. We'll see. And they joined us on Friday. We came from New Orleans. They came from Oklahoma, and not quite the middle. It was a little bit further for us, but we all got together.
It was over double for you guys than it was for us.
It was.
I mean,
yeah, it's way.
It's really not a far drive for us at all.
But that's pretty much how far you got to go if you want to see something geek related.
Yeah.
If you're in New Orleans, like there's just nothing down there except for like Wizard World, and that's, you know.
It still really surprises me that you guys don't have that many conventions down there.
We really don't. The guy, actually one of the guys on the vendor floor reminded me about MechaCon, which is an anime convention that we have once a year, but I'm not really that big into anime, so I've never been.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. There's not really all that much. I mean, we've got SoonerCon, but it's not really all that geeky. It tends towards more mainstream stuff, I think.
We have a convention.
Yeah. Yeah, it's SoonerCon. It's always in, like, Oklahoma City.
Clearly did not know about this.
I've known about SoonerCon for years. What's your problem?
I don't pay attention to these things.
I feel like the mediator sitting in between y'all.
This is how things normally go with us, so it's okay. We're not fighting. If we're fighting, you'll know because one of us will storm out mad.
Whatever. No, I'll just start punching you.
So we got here on Friday. We couldn't get down here. We wanted to come down on Thursday, but we didn't get our paychecks until Friday. We had to like wheedle them out of our employers, so we didn't get down here until Friday, like middle afternoon.
But that was pretty much, that was my text message. Don't mind it. But that was pretty much when the con started. I was kind of surprised. I was used to MagFest where like things started at like 9 and 10 a.m. But here, like things really didn't, like Friday things didn't start until about like 2.
Yeah, I think the opening ceremonies were
It
kind of
seemed
late,
like, yeah.
Well, you had some stuff throughout the day in the mornings, but it never seemed to be the stuff you really wanted to go to. It was kind of like the lesser important things were in the mornings so that you could sleep, or you could or if you wanted to get up early.
Yeah.
And
sorry,
go
all
see
you
them.
guys who had convention stuff in the morning on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, or like, you know, yeah, like the Saturday morning was the RetroWare TV panel, and I was mildly interested, but not interested enough to get up and get in line at 9:30 in the morning. I just.
Well, I think like. You know, the Friday morning stuff would have been, if we ever get a panel, we'll be like Friday morning at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Like, sure, you can go ahead. But I mean, I think, because, like, Jack and I don't remember what time exactly we went down there on Friday, but it was like, we just kept wandering around. I think because they had said that the opening stuff was supposed to start, and we're, like, waiting for it, and you could just see, like, all these nerds just wandering around so lost. And finally this girl goes, "The tabletop room is open!" And we're like, yes! So we like went over there, and we immediately discovered that there is a Catan dice version. And I think that is pretty much the main thing we have done this entire con.
How many times have you guys played that this weekend? Because
I played it 3 times.
I think I've got 6.
I started to say just 3 because...
I missed out because remember we went to the grocery.
Oh yeah, that's
and y'all played games.
That's right.
Like the Catan people owe us money because we would because it's it's a really cool game because it's the kind you can have any number of players to play. So we'd be sitting there and we'd be playing, and somebody else would kind of wander up to the table and be like, "Hey, you wanna learn how to play?" And we'd teach them how to play. So we did it so many times.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Come on, give me a free copy now. I earned it."
Well,
but it is really fun. It's a good game.
Yeah, it was a cute little game.
Here, visual aids for you.
It's as many cards.
Yeah, the little map that you play on is pretty.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't see over here.
But yeah, from this far.
Yeah, we'll have to show it maybe closer.
But yeah, that was really fun. So we played that first, and that two random guys came in and played with us, and once that finished, one of the other guys knew how to play Ticket to Ride, which I had seen on tabletop, but I couldn't really remember how to play. So that was fun. That he kind of showed us how to do it. We went through a full game of that. That was really fun. I enjoyed that one a lot too. And I think pretty much right when we were finished, that was when y'all came in town.
Yeah.
So.
And we came in, and I was like, because you get all I get all hot and sticky in the car, so I was like, oh, I'll take a shower. So got ready, and then we went out, and I think we wandered around and saw everything again.
Yeah, we kind of explored because by that point everything was open, so we got a feel for the game room and.
Yeah, there's a tabletop room, and of course there's a big video game room, and they had a bunch of indie game developers in there. Well,
one half was the indie developers, and then the other half was primarily consoles, and then like some arcade games, free to play.
There was quite a few arcade games.
There were some arcade tablets. They had some laptops out. I think they even had some. We saw some like DSs, like Nintendo, like Game Boys and stuff out too. So
which that seemed kind of weird to me. I guess because being a handheld system, I'm like, did someone leave this charging here, or is it open for everybody to play? I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd feel weird about just picking up some random
exactly.
And it's portable, so you could just totally just like walk off with it if it's not nailed down. So yeah, that would be.
Makes me wonder if there was like somebody that was sitting at the table, kind of incognito,
maybe
like playing, but like making sure no one like walked off with it, kind of thing.
I would assume.
So yeah.
There was also there were all the indie developers, and it was kind of a. I mean, they had the AVGN video game there.
Right, which there was always a line.
Yeah, we didn't get to play it, but we watched them.
We watched other people play. That gave us a good feel for it. So.
Yeah, well, the one guy who was playing it on one screen was playing it. Kind of had this like Duke Nukem feel to it to me, and then on the other screen it kind of felt like Super Mario almost.
It seems like each level they're going for a different style, old retro style of video.
Yeah,
game.
a different style. This is a guess because we didn't see anybody advance in any levels. We're just sort of like guessing.
Which I have a feeling, I mean, because, sometimes when you got, like, a demo, it may have only been those 2 levels.
That's true.
So maybe that's all you can play right now. But you can play, obviously, you start off as the nerd, but then one guy unlocked the guitar guy.
Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle. Yeah. And the fun thing about his is that you shoot with his guitar, but the music note goes like this. So it's a different kind of projectile, so you got to think about it a little differently to hit the things. And so it seems like they're putting a lot of effort into it. It should be a decent little side scroller.
Yeah.
It also seemed like the biggest production for the indie games that they really
had
there.
There was also the what is it called? On the Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness.
Yeah.
The Penny Arcade games. One. And I got the feeling that they just didn't give a shit if you like they knew that they were going to get enough sales. That they just kind of had the stuff out there, and if you wanted to play, you could play, but if not, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't really trying to sell you at all.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
There was a developer who had he was, like, handing out CDs, but he was like, well, Shine, I have no idea what, like, he gave me a CD, I have no idea what kind of game it was. He
was, obviously, he wanted to get his game out there. But he didn't really know anything about promotion. Yeah. But he was trying his hardest, and I had to really appreciate that because, it's like if it's just you and you're by yourself and you make this game, you want to get it out there. How do you do it? You go to a con, right? It's a pretty good opportunity, but...
Yeah, I don't think he had any idea of what he was doing.
But he didn't even have, like, a sign-up or...
Yeah, he kind of looked like he was just sitting there with his laptop until you came up and handed the CD out, so...
Right. He was trying.
I mean,
he was trying.
I felt bad for the guy because he clearly didn't have much in the way of social skills.
Yeah,
he was very reserved.
That is a big. I mean, I know it's a nerd convention, and I know that's. But like this convention, like there was a lot of socially awkward people. And if
Yeah.
I'm saying that, that's
Yeah.
saying something. Like there was a lot of really shy people and a lot of like, oh, you're walking and you've got a bunch of stuff in your hands. Am I supposed to move out of the way? No, I didn't. What? You know.
Well, there was also the opposite of that. There was the overly talkative people that
Oh.
maybe like.
By the way, I have a channel on YouTube. You should check out my YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the people that it was like.
This is my handle on this
Well,
website.
it's like the other side of socially awkward.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like
Like
the,
the-
whether
I-
under promoting, over promoting, afraid to talk, talking too much. It's a cornucopia of nerdy awkwardness when you come to these conventions.
And the weirdness of the people who hadn't showered. I'm surprised I ran into that multiple times this weekend. I'm sure that's a thing, but
That's
I don't
con
get-
funk is a well-known thing, unfortunately. Why would you
Yeah,
not?
but the first day,
Right?
that guy that I was playing Street Fighter 3 with, he came up and it was like,
Oh,
I was
yeah,
starting
yeah,
to
yeah.
do pretty good, and I just kind of lost on purpose because I'm like, I can't stand breathing another molecule
Wow.
with this guy's.
Well, and of course that was on one of the arcade style games, and you're right next to somebody. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, wow.
Arm to arm
please,
with them usually.
For the love of God, go take a shower.
Right.
You know, you're in a hotel. Hopefully,
I mean, it wasn't
hopefully
just,
you're not
it
out
wasn't
on
just
the
like
street.
a sweat smell either. Like
No,
I thought he had
there-
like a loaded diaper on.
There is a big difference between sweat smell
Wow.
and
It was really
BO
bad.
funk.
It was awful.
Yeah, it's when you start like don't shower for a long time. And you start because and it's not. I've not just run into this cons. I've known people who, and in my personal life, who it's
Yeah.
like you need to shower. More.
I guess I don't.
It's like he prepared for the
It's
con by not showering for a week.
It's the stereotype, I guess, and you hate to think that it's true, but it's these guys that they sit at home and they play on their computer and they don't get up and shower because they don't go anywhere most of the time, I guess.
Yeah, but I stay home and I sit on my computer all day, but I don't. I still
don't-
find time to go
Yeah.
get the shower. I mean, I just.
I don't know. I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah. Well, there is no
But
excuse for it.
No,
I mean,
there's not.
this is 2013. Go take a
And-
fucking.
You know what
shower.
the funny thing about this is? People can't see this watching the video, but we're talking about all these people in a room that is like covered in trash.
Yeah, it is definitely like
Have you
that.
ever
Just, like,
noticed that
cans.
hotel rooms give you these tiny little garbage cans? Like, so that once you've put in about, 3 bottles of water and 2 paper plates in them, you have no more room? What is up with that?
Yeah, we've got like
We've got what, 2 bags full of trash
And
that
then
we had to
pizza
use
boxes.
from.
and we've
Yeah.
used the bathroom.
Actually, you
trash
know what?
can.
You're pretty good at editing. Like after we finish this segment, you
Do
should
a film,
just
like
do a
this.
walkthrough so we can overlay
Oh
that
my
video
God.
over that part of the
Yeah, but
audio.
if-
I don't know if
we
people
do-
really want to see
No,
that.
If we
you
do
gotta
a
see
walkthrough,
this.
we're gonna look like alcoholics.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
drinking absinthe
Booze.
right now.
Well, yeah,
But-
and that's fair. But I'm just saying, booze and beer and.
But this is a party.
Well,
Yeah,
it
that was
totally
kind of like
is.
our thing.
And that's
was
fair.
we're-
It's a weekend-long party. You're in the hotel. You're not leaving the hotel, so you don't have to worry about driving.
Yeah, we only left the hotel once, and
Yeah. To get some
And that was a
groceries.
mistake.
Because the restaurants here are really good, but they're also very expensive. I mean, this is a Hyatt hotel, so you gotta pretty much expect that. But yeah, so we're like we need to get some sandwiches. Like whenever you go to a con, never underestimate the fact that you are going to get hungry, and the food is going to be ridiculously expensive, and you need to prepare for that.
yeah, we
Absolutely.
had like lots of sandwich stuff to snack on, and we also
Yeah, you
ordered
guys
pizza.
brought a ton
Yeah.
of food.
Yeah, I probably over-prepared.
No.
I tend
Better to be over
I tend to
prepared
do
than
that.
to starve for 2 days because you're like, I don't
Well,
want to
you
use the
say that
hotel.
until you have to take 3 trips to the poor people parking lot where we parked.
Yeah, but
across
see,
the street.
it's not my food,
Rush hour.
so y'all have to do.
It's not Greg's problem. That's what he's saying.
No, yeah,
Yes.
and that was another thing, the parking.
Yeah.
We all parked a mile and a half
It
away.
wasn't a mile.
It wasn't that far.
I was being a little bit facetious.
A little
but
bit.
A lot.
Basically, there's valet parking, and then I think there was a $10 lot, which I never saw any signs leading to the $10 lot.
Yeah.
I barely saw.
So I
signs
don't even
leading
know
to
how
the-
you got to that one. but they had signs leading to the $5 lot, and you get up to it, and you kind of look like, is this legit?
I mean, it's like everything's like broken. There's like weeds coming out of the crack.
It doesn't even look like a parking lot.
I hope my car's still there. When
exactly. It's like, I mean, they say at your own risk, which that's pretty typical for a parking lot, but still, it's
I'm just worried that it's like not a legal parking job. Like they were just selling parking tickets and then they got.
Well, if so, then they set up a booth.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. If you're gonna go all the way to set up a booth,
it wouldn't be the first time. But yeah, I don't know. It was some shady.
It was pretty shady
parking.
It was pretty shady.
And I mean, like the weather here has been like 95 degrees.
Well, you know,
every day.
It's Texas in summer. So
yeah, it's pretty hot. So imagine making the trek from that parking lot with all of your stuff in your arms, back and forth, and
Well, I told Beth if I drop just to leave me, and we'll come back for the stuff later.
Go on without me.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we only had to make one trip, but we didn't bring nearly as much stuff as you. Of course, that's why we had to go back out. So
Right. Yeah. To the grocery, but.
What else did we do on Friday? Greg and I did the Spoonie Q&A panel.
Y'all did, yeah.
I
think we napped at that point.
Yeah, you guys were asleep when we got back to
I didn't mean to, but it was like one of those things like, I'm just gonna lay down for... Oh, shit, y'all are back? Okay, hi. Yeah.
The Spoonie Q&A is pretty good. I think he was recording it. I know he was recording the riff.
It was a little short for me, to be honest.
No, it wasn't that short. I think it's just because they kept asking. They kept asking Final Fantasy questions, and it's like, you know what? Get over it.
Well, and I mean that's the thing. That's not the only thing he's known for. So I don't get why it was just Final Fantasy. I mean, you could.
Well, I mean, you know,
is that his main? Well, he did the What's that series that he just went through not that long ago? Ultima.
He's done the Ultima.
That's more recent, right?
One guy
did the Let's Play for the Phantasmagoria. He did the Ripper thing. He's done lots of stuff.
Yeah.
One guy did get up and asked him an Ultima question, but it was more to annoy him. And then
did he say what's a paladin?
Yes,
he totally said what's a paladin. And then I think he went on to ask a Final Fantasy question. So it was kind of like, I'm going to lead in with this punch, and then I'm just going to annoy the shit out of you.
I guess, I mean, it is a really popular series, and it's probably the stuff he's most famous for, I would guess.
I think that's where he got a lot of people who... Well, when he talks about Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy VIII review he started doing, when he did the first one, like, he got a whole bunch of people bitching at him. He was like, you know what, it's on now, I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
But now he keeps getting these, when are you going to finish Final Fantasy 13? When are you going to go on to do Final Fantasy 13-2? When are you going to do...
Well, he even said when in his questions that like each of these things takes like a month for him to put out.
They're long games.
They're long games, and then he's got to edit and he's got to do the review and all that. So I mean it takes him a while to get all this stuff out.
That sometimes it's a bad thing to go to a Q&A because it's like you go because you want to hear new info about them, but then sometimes you meet these fans and you're just like. What is
Here's the thing, though. I'm prepared for Spoonie fans to be assholes. So, like, I kind of know that a lot of the Spoonie fans are also real bad assholes. Because you've got this sort of asshole persona.
Yeah.
And so it sort of draws all these assholes to him.
Right.
And I've met him, I've talked to him, like, once or twice, and he doesn't really seem like an asshole in person, but, that's the thing he does on the internet is kind of be an asshole about these games. So, and he's real hyperbolic on Twitter too when he's, feeling. They did ask him about his like health and stuff, and he did say he was feeling good.
Oh yeah, that was the first guy. That was the first guy to go.
That was like one of the few questions that I was like, oh, that's a nice question.
That's nice, yeah.
That they asked about him. He said he was feeling good. He got everything sort of sorted out. He was doing well, so that was good. And he also gave out, if you watch Spoonie, you may not. He gave out all the balls from the Minority Report. I cannot remember the name of that game for the life of me. The Minority Report review. He just like started throwing them out, and I got hit in the face with Spoonie's balls. So
almost everybody in the couple of front rows got hit in the face.
Well,
you got hit directly in the face by an asshole fan.
They started turning around and throwing them, so someone threw one right in my face, and Greg caught it, so it's okay. We got the ball. Yeah.
I don't think he meant to hit you in the face, but
no, I don't think so.
He directly hit you
totally
in the face.
Hit me in the face.
And that was.
But it was an interesting Q&A. I think he understood that it was going to be like a repetitive thing. So he tried to tell this cute story at the beginning that nobody had heard before. So I thought that was nice that he was like, real quick, I'm going to tell you this story, so at least you've got this new story instead of just hearing the Final Fantasy question over and over.
Yeah.
So I thought he did really well on that. But again, I'm probably one of the few people who still watch Spoonie, so I understand that.
Well, clearly, I mean, there was enough people to come to the room.
Well,
so.
I just mean of people who are going to watch this video.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because I was probably the only one who, after he like apologized and was,
Well, yeah, he put his foot in his mouth, and sometimes people don't stick around for the apology.
And that's completely understandable. It's totally cool for people to be like, you know what, fuck this, fuck him, screw all of that. I completely understand that. I totally get why people would leave him. But he I read his apology, and I read what he's writing about, and I understand kind of and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give him another chance and see how I feel about. Because I completely unfollowed him there for a while. I was pissed off at him just like everybody else was. It's just after a while he apologized, and it seemed like he was trying to get a grips on everything, and he started trying to put everything under control. So I was like, you know what? I've been following him for so long, because I started reading his text reviews before I even were watching his video. So I've been following him for so long that I thought, I'll just give it another shot and see how this works out. And maybe if he has another flip out like that again or a meltdown, I'll leave for good.
But it seems like he's getting help now. Yeah. It seems like that was.
And he's got meds.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's got a little more stability in his life. So I guess we'll see. But then after that, we went. What did we do?
I think y'all came back. We were debating on going out, but so we'd been napping. I think y'all saw us laying in bed, and y'all were like, "That looks like a good idea."
I totally saw y'all crashed, and I was just like, "Wow, that's a really good idea." And I kind of crashed. We didn't stay asleep, but whatever.
Yeah.
We pretty much stayed in the room for the rest of the night. So
yeah, we kind of laid down, and then we just hung out and chatted and stuff. So really, mostly we came to hang out with each other as much as anything else.
That's pretty. Because it was like I had thought about going to MagFest, and I was like, I could go all the way up to DC in winter, or I can go to Dallas in the summer. It's
wow,
somewhat
you've got great choices
in between for both of us. We can meet up. And, we like games, it seemed like a no-brainer, really, so.
And then on Saturday, we got up, and we all went and hung out in that game room for a while, didn't we? We did the game floor again, and
yeah, I mean, that's basically what we kept doing, is we kept going from, tabletop room to the game room.
What all games did we see?
Vendor hall.
Let's talk about the video games we saw, because it's a video game convention, so, right?
Right.
We saw that Wrecking Ball game that you played, that...
Yeah, that was it's a 4-player game where you each have 4 of these little balls, and it's a neat style because the characters and all look like almost like paper cutouts.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me what the hell was going on in that game?
No.
The idea, as I understood it, as the guy was explaining it to us, was that you have balls, and it's almost like you're little marbles, and you're bumping into each other, and you're tacking each other. And whoever lasts the longest wins. It was mostly the controls were a little wonky.
Well, it just seemed like you had no control.
I mean, let me put it this way: I won, and I did not feel like I accomplished anything. It was just like, oh, everybody else is dead. Okay, I guess I won.
Well, wasn't it? You had to have 4 players to play it.
Or I think so.
Okay.
I mean, maybe that there was some
that's
options.
Yeah, he was
that
one of the
seems
players.
weird to me. Because it totally looked like, you need 4 players to play this.
There may be a single player mode, and they were just setting it up as a 4-player to show everybody. It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we saw the Brain and Zombie game.
Yeah.
Oh, the Brain and Zombie game. Yeah.
Which is why we've got
fun.
I don't know if
I don't have mine.
But we've
totally got mine on.
They were giving out wristbands. They were also giving out little squeezy heads, but I decided that the wristband would probably be the wristband was less likely to be eaten by the dog.
Yeah, and it's glow in the dark, which is always fun.
Yeah, it's glow in the dark wristband, so.
But that one is it has a similar mechanic to Angry Birds in that you're pulling back and then it flings around.
Yeah, the point is to jerk this brain, right?
Yeah, giant brain.
And you touch the brain, you pull back, and then you shoot it, and it like squishes zombies. So your goal is to squish all the zombies in the level, or squish a certain number of zombies.
So like instead of where with Angry Birds there's a structure that you're knocking over, this is kind of like a more free-form area, and the zombies are all over the place.
And you did it repeatedly. That was kind of neat.
You're like scooting around on the street, squishing zombies and blowing stuff up, and it was a really cute game, and the mechanic was really like, it worked really well. We were, they have it on, what was it, iPhone,
iPod, or iPad rather, and I think he said it's Android too.
Said all Android,
and it is. I looked it up on the iPhone. It's free. There might be, you might have to pay to get like an expansion,
or maybe an ad-free version or something like that.
Maybe so. I haven't had a chance to open it yet, but it looked like. I mean, like I said, it looked like I didn't even see a paid version that I could tell. So it's probably something in the game itself where maybe you expand to get more levels.
And the designer was what, Fractal Fox?
Fractal Fox.
Yeah. They had a. What else was there? There was a game design company. I think that was the one I was playing, where I was playing the different demons.
Wasn't it like a student thing? Maybe?
Yeah, like a student.
Yeah,
thing.
It might even be from a college around here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
There was.
I don't remember what that was called though. Do you?
I don't think it had a name. I looked and I couldn't find it.
It had a cute little idea because basically it looked like you were demons who were employees in hell, and you were like going around hell, and it was basically like a puzzle platformer.
Yeah, and you're trying to find people to kill.
Yeah, to free their souls.
Or to use their souls or something.
Something like that.
And
there wasn't anybody around to like explain the game like some of the other ones were. It was basically just out there, just like.
And I was like noticing as I was playing, the controls were kind of like difficult, but then when I saw it was like maybe a student design game, that kind of makes sense. Like maybe it was someone's like final project or something.
Right.
But it felt really finished, and I'd be surprised if they weren't selling it.
It looked really good too.
Yeah, it looked really good. There was also one that I didn't play, but it was called Castle. Did you see that? And it looked a little like
they had free suckers. That's what I remember about it.
Oh, it was that game. Okay, I remember that game.
Yeah. And to me, it looked a little like a Prince of Persia kind of game, because you were jumping around in a castle. It kind of looked like to me.
I don't think I checked that one out.
I looked at it and I watched them play for a few minutes, but I didn't get to sit down and play it because sometimes there were lines and you're just like, whatever.
Man, some of those indie games had really long lines, and like there were some of those that I really wanted to check out.
Some company called Shiny Loot.
Yeah.
And they were giving away all kinds of free stuff. Pens. They had these like blow up fists. That,
but some of the stuff you had to like. I think you
had to sign up for stuff.
Were they giving away those blow up fists?
They were giving away the blow up fists, but like you had to like sign up for the service or whatever. To do it, which I think was free, but it was still like, I mean, so many of those things, you give them your email address and they never leave you alone.
True.
I don't always like to do that personally, but
there was that. The vendor floor was kind of, I mean, it was fairly decent.
It was. I mean, a lot of people selling used games, as you would expect. T-shirts.
This is where I got the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and my T-shirt as well.
And I also got this, which I'm mixing my sci-fi, but it's cool. It's cool.
I noticed there were a lot of, like, as far as the homemade crafts, it was the perler bead pixel art.
Yes.
Oh, that was really cool.
And
I liked some of that.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I look at certain things and I'll go, I can totally do that. All I need is a pixel grid and the things and an iron. I don't know if I'm going to pay you $5 for something this big that I can make myself.
Yeah.
I mean, now I will say they did, one of them had, I mean, this thing.
Yeah, like a big one. Like
It was the map of World 1 of Super Mario World.
Yeah, I think it was something like 16,000 bees or something like that. It was like a
and it took like 20-something hours.
Yeah.
And I believe that was something. That was an accomplishment. I would not have the patience to sit there and do that.
Well, see, I don't have the patience to sit there and do the little ones either.
All right, take 2. We just found out that my camera has a 30-minute recording limit for some goofy reason. So hopefully this won't be too bad, but yeah, sorry for the interruption there.
Yeah, we also like didn't realize it until like 10.
Yeah, we kept going, so.
So you missed a whole bunch of really interesting
you
stuff.
missed the best of it, and we're not going to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Too bad. But okay, yeah. So the vendor room was where we were at. We're talking about the things that people were making.
And they had board games there, which we thought was And the people who do the board games
were also the ones who were like kind of, I get not sponsoring, but they were
No,
making.
they were totally sponsoring because there were signs
I mean, it was
up
their
and everything.
games
Yeah.
that were in the tabletop room.
If I had noticed it in the vendor room, I would have understood that these are the same people that were in the gaming room.
Yeah.
I totally apparently
The
walked
only
past
thing
sign.
about that is that you would think that like a local gaming shop would have had the modern version of, I mean not the modern, the American version of Ticket to Ride, rather than only the European and the German versions, and that they would have had regular Catan and not just Dice Catan.
Well, I think they just brought what they thought would be,
They probably just
Just
they
different
probably just brought
choices.
some
or maybe
stuff.
the stuff they put out in the game room was stuff that had been scuffed or damaged or something.
Could be.
At some point
Could be.
during like just this stuff that they didn't, or stuff that had been returned that they didn't want to resell, so they just put it in the room for.
Or maybe at their shop, those are the ones that are usually the most popular. So
Or
they
maybe
people
this
would enjoy
is some of their they have their own game room set up, and this is just some of the stuff they grabbed, saying, "Hey,
Right.
let's take this with
Well,
us."
she did say when they kicked us out today that that they he went to the game to their store, they did the same kind of thing where you could sit around and play for a while. So maybe it was just what they had. So we don't know. That I mean, but there was some really good cosplay. We kind of went through that a little, but
yeah. So we're gonna try to talk about it again and hopefully not to be repetitive. But obviously a lot of video game related things, as you would expect. Lots of Mario's, lots of Luigi's.
I saw a couple of female Mario and Luigi's. That was kind of neat.
yeah, and it was like multiple of both. It was like there was dude Mario and Luigi's and lady Mario and Luigi's.
Yeah.
So.
Lots of people, of course, they were selling the Link hats in the vendor room, so like a lot of people had the Link hats on.
And they also had like Mega Man arms in the vendor room, so I saw a
And there were
couple
also
of
like
Mega
a lot of
Mans.
foam Luigi and Mario hats people were wearing and stuff like that too. So there's lots of stuff that people were just wearing because they just bought it. So
right.
The Pope was here.
Yeah, there was a Pope.
That was really weird.
Well, he was dressed up as the Pope, and I'm not quite entirely sure why. But at one point, he had a riot shield he was carrying around. I mean, I guess
we should mention that none of us are really Screw Attack fans.
Yeah, so maybe
if there's something that's a reference to Screw Attack, it probably flew right over our heads.
But speaking of Screw Attack in general, there was also the Hitman who made another appearance.
Yes.
The Hitman dresses as the Hitman from the Hitman video game.
I think he has like an actual specific name, but I don't.
He looks a lot like the guy in the video game.
Yeah, he totally. He really does. He goes all out. He's
I believe it's Agent 47. I might have the number wrong.
Okay. That sounds right. That sounds near anyway.
But this guy goes all out for the convention. He shaves his head, or he's naturally bald. I don't know.
One of those
he dresses up in a suit.
Got the, red tie,
gloves.
The last time we were here, he had a little fake prop gun that he would randomly walk up and pow, he'd shoot you. And then you'd fall on the floor in whatever pose you want to make when you're on the floor, and he would put blue tape around you to mark the kill. Well, this year he was getting really specific. He killed this boy when we were just sitting there waiting on a panel, and he like got his name, and he got his what's it? No, it was just his
Twitter handle.
I think it was just his name because he was going to post it, and he was trying to count out how many, and he said he was trying to beat his last count, which was 107 for I guess the 2010 one.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. That guy's really nice. We met him the last time we were here. He seems like a really nice guy. But
it was a fun idea. I really dug it.
I remember the last convention, the last one he did was he did this to himself, and then he had someone do his own.
That's
because apparently there's some sort of achievement in the game for self-termination. So that was the last one he did on that one, and I
had totally forgotten about that.
I cannot remember which convention we went to, but it was the last Screw Attack that Spoonie went to, I think. So.
Well, it was either 2009 or 2010 because I've heard people using both of those years.
See, I don't think we had Jack at the time.
Yeah. I think this is
no. We may have, and then he may have spent the weekend with your parents.
Yeah.
This is the third one, but they skipped last year, I think.
Well,
No, I think
they
this is
skipped
something
the
like
last
that.
like
Is it a
2
fourth
years.
Because I think they did 2008, 2009, 2010.
Okay.
But maybe
So
I'm
they
wrong.
skipped 2 years then?
I think they skipped
Yeah, they
2
definitely
years.
skipped 2 years because it was
Shows what I
2010.
know.
It was 2010 was the last one, or at least the
Okay.
last year that I've heard
You're
everybody
probably
talking
right.
about.
You're probably
And
right.
so there's 2 years in between,
Yeah.
Okay.
but whatever.
And as far as I know, they're going to do it again next year.
Yeah, that's what we
So,
were hearing. So,
yeah.
what were we gonna do?
Well, there was some more cosplay
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
There was like
there was
that-
a Slender Man.
There was Slender
It
Man.
was really fun because we were going up the escalator and he was going down and he was very straight and all of a sudden he goes like that.
Well,
And because it's the white face.
Yeah, it was because you said, "Oh, Slender Man."
Yeah, like I said it, and so he turned to look at me and I was like, yes, awesome.
It was badass.
He was good. He
There
had that.
were actually a couple of different Slendermans. I saw a gray one, a blue one,
No,
and a red.
But see, I don't
that's
think
a
those are
different thing.
Slender
That's
Man.
a
I think
different
those are just full body.
Yeah, that's
Suit
a
thing.
different thing. That's a different
Okay.
thing.
Because I know when I went to MagFest, there was one that was like solid green, like a green screen thing. There was a solid blue one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's some kind. I
So-
think it's some kind of thing, and it's a different kind of thing. I don't know
Yeah.
what.
Okay.
And I mean, like, if you're a puppeteer, you buy those suits, like,
Yeah,
so you
so you
can
can
blend in with the background and have your puppet. Like, that was another thing at MagFest. There was a guy he was in all black, and then he had the puppet, so he was talking, but it was the puppet talking, and he would say, like, don't pay any attention to that thing back there,
Yeah.
So I think people just wear those suits to cons, because I guess it's a good way to do it, and no one knows who the hell you are.
I guess.
Oh, and there was
Why not?
There was B.O. guy as Quail Man. I almost forgot about that.
There was a Quail Man, and he
he's-
had the dog too, a little stuffed
Yeah,
dog.
he did have a
He
little
sat
stuffed
next
dog.
to us for a Catan dice game, and he stunk. I'll just say it honestly, he stunk. I had to reach over and poke him a couple of times, and it was not a
Because
pleasant
he started
experience.
playing Munchkin.
Yeah,
and
somebody
Arcade.
else started a game of Munchkin, and he wanted to play, and Dice Catan wasn't done, so he was like going back and forth between them. And then he seemed surprised that he wasn't winning at Catan because, gee, maybe you're not really paying that much attention because you're trying to earn more rolls.
He didn't seem like he was paying that much attention to the Munchkin game either.
Well, how
when
could
it-
you do 2 games? I couldn't
yeah,
do
I
that.
And the Munchkin.
I can barely
and the
do
people
one
who
game
started
at
the Munchkin
once.
game said, "Hey, if you want to wait and finish that, we'll spot you some levels when you start.
Yeah.
If we're all like 4 or 5."
And he was like, no, we're almost done. And it was like,
Well,
no,
it seemed
we're
like he had a lot to prove too. So
Well, but we were only
That was-
like
that was
halfway
the guy-
through the game.
That was also the guy who was like, "This is my YouTube channel and this is my
Yes.
username," and so he was. I think he was really trying to hard sell, and it wasn't
trying to be the cool guy.
working out for him.
Right,
And then
right.
try to be the cool guy.
And I mean, and his Quillman costume
It was really good.
And
Because we had seen him the day before, and you pointed him out, and you were like, "Wow, that's Quail Man." I was like, "Wow, okay."
And
He
he
makes it with a
seemed
pen.
really nice,
Mhm.
but it.
I mean,
He was just, he was trying a little too hard.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
a lot of people would do that. Like, they would
Yeah.
come up to you and they would talk to you, and I understand it's really hard to network, it's really hard to get yourself out there. But when you come up and like almost like the first or second thing out of your mouth is your YouTube channel or your podcast or whatever, it's like just pull it back a little.
Yeah.
You know?
and you even had people. I mean, I know you guys had your Twitter names on your badges, but you
Yeah.
even got people that were like flashing them at you, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
whoa,
I wrote
whoa,
it
back.
because, I figured, hey, we're hanging out, you play a game with somebody, you think they're cool, then you go, okay, yeah, here it is if you want to
Oh,
follow.
don't even act like that was your idea. That was that dude's idea.
It was the
And
dude's
it was a
idea,
great
and I
idea.
thought it was a good idea, and that's why I did it, and it was on the back of my badge. It wasn't like, hey, everybody, follow me right now.
But you weren't pushing it in
Exactly.
anybody's face, but you got the people that were just immediately, like, within
Yeah.
seconds of you meeting them, like, boom, here's my badge, here's my Twitter name, follow me. It's like,
Everybody wants to
whoa,
be famous on the internet.
that's,
these
you know,
days.
let's-
Everybody.
yeah, and let's back this off a little bit. I just met you. I don't even,
Yeah.
I don't even know you.
Yeah.
Just back off.
Isn't
So,
that sort of the internet though? Promoters promoting to other promoters now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But anyway, positive. There are good things that happen. We don't have to complain about
I was
everything.
just neat.
Um, But So let's see, with the Quailman, what other cosplay was there?
There was like a couple of Zeldas. There was the Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
There was the Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter.
One that was really good.
She was like
really
I guess
done.
I hate to say sexy Mad Hatter, but it's essentially what she was.
Yeah.
Well, but but she obviously took some time
Yeah,
and
like
made the outfit good. It wasn't
I think
just like
she had to have made that herself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was
Definitely.
very
It
good.
was very good. There was a couple of ladies I saw that were wearing she was wearing it was like a 50s style dress, but it was made out of Batman.
Oh yeah, it was Batman material. That was awesome.
I saw another lady who had it was like Star Trek material or something. I saw a couple people who'd done something like that.
And I saw a couple of anime characters that
There
I
were
personally have no
some
idea who
Resident
they
Evil
were.
guys
Oh yeah, I did
that we
see
saw,
that.
and I tell you what, they looked so good that Jack and I were like, "Is that Mega 64?" Because Mega 64 tends to go all out with their costumes, and they look really good. So
Yeah,
we thought they were maybe those guys because they looked so accurate.
I've seen
that
that
no,
guy
that's
on
not
something
them.
else. I don't remember
Yeah,
what.
he looked familiar, but theirs was really
5
good.
years ago.
There was a Voldo from the Soul Calibur series. That was
Oh my God, there was.
There totally was. Yeah, when we were in
How
line
do
for
I miss a Voldo?
you might not have seen him, but
Obviously not.
For the Spoonie Q&A, he was lined up in front of us, kind of by the Pope, and yeah, he totally came out of nowhere, and he had the mask and everything.
Wow.
The only thing he was missing were blades, but of course the con doesn't really want you to
you have
openly
to
carry weapons, so.
Well, they'd have to be like rubber or plastic or
Yeah,
whatever.
so he just had his gloved hands, but he
That's awesome.
dyed his hair and everything. It was a really good.
There was
costume.
also
the Shield agent.
there was a shield. I couldn't
there was-
decide if it was
that.
Hawkeye or if it was just some sort
He
of.
kind of looked like he was trying to be Hawkeye, but he didn't have a bow or anything.
Well, again, they were the weapon policy,
Yeah.
but he had it was just a vest, and he had a shield patch on it, and it was the same kind of vest that Hawkeye had in the movie.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't have it was
have
just
a bow and arrow
he
or
didn't have a
anything?
bow and arrow, and it was a black vest. There was no that dark purpley red on it at all that Hawkeye did.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was trying to be Hawkeye or if he
Or
was
he
just
might
being
have just been
Might
nameless
just be
Shield
Shield,
agent,
yeah.
number 52 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, he looked good, and there was also. Did we go back over the Weaver?
Oh, the Nomak character. Yeah, there was a chick who had done a really awesome makeup job. I didn't really figure out who it was until she turned to a guy and kind of dropped on all fours and hissed at him, and I was like, oh, that's from Blade 2, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Blade 2.
And she had done a really awesome makeup job. The costume looked really good, so that was really cool. What else did we see?
I think we might have covered this. There was lots of anime stuff that we didn't recognize.
Yeah, there was
But it looked
so much anime stuff that it was like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good, but I
I just
idea.
don't recognize
We
it.
didn't.
Right.
We didn't see. We didn't talk about White Ranger Linkara.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's what we were talking about when we cut off.
Yeah.
Yes, probably.
It was the laziest.
I wouldn't say the laziest one of the con,
No,
but it was probably the laziest one.
It's the laziest because on YouTube, I'm not on YouTube, on Tumblr, lots of people do Linkara cosplays, and Linkara will reblog it so everybody can see it. It's the laziest Linkara cosplay I've seen.
It was a lab coat
It
for
was a lab
starters.
coat, and a white fedora and he had a white morpher belt, and that was
That
like
must
it.
have been number 5.
No, that was, I think he was 9.
He was somewhere in the count, because what we're talking about is we decided very early to do a fedora count.
And what was the final count?
14?
14, yeah.
14.
The hardest part was making sure you didn't recount somebody. You had to also memorize their face, which is you wanted to see the fedora. That's what you're looking at first. But
Fortunately, the kind of person who wears a fedora usually has a pretty distinctive looking face. So.
Well, and they generally wear the same fedora for several days, so if you pick out the fedora, you can
we decided that Linkara guy, it didn't, just because he was wearing a cosplay, it didn't matter. Dude, you're still wearing a fedora.
And the funny thing is,
you know what? That cosplay was so lazy. It was almost an excuse to wear a fedora as opposed to being an actual attempt.
Well, but
a genuine, if it had seemed like a genuine attempt at a cosplay, I would be like, I'll allow it. But I think he just threw something together so he could wear the fedora.
But you remember in that same line, there were 3 other guys wearing fedoras in cheap cosplay that again kind of looked like this is my excuse to wear my fedora. So I put on this like leather-ish looking jacket, so I'm Indiana Jones or something.
No, they weren't quite fedoras. They had bigger hats. They weren't quite.
It was close enough.
It's like I just spent my $10 allowance at Target on this paper fedora. I'm gonna wear it.
Yep.
I think next year I'm totally going to go to Target and get a paper fedora and just wear it around.
Cosplay as the fedora.
Are you gonna have like a shirt that says "I'm that guy"?
I'm that guy.
You should carry the guitar around.
The acoustic guitar and the fedora.
Like, what was up with that dude? There was some kid playing an acoustic guitar outside of the tabletop.
Yeah, outside of the tabletop, and he could only play 3 chords.
But he was playing them like really, really quietly, like he didn't want anybody to notice him, but he did.
But yeah, like dude, you're sitting there with a guitar.
Well, you're sitting there with a guitar. Yeah, how are you not going to be noticed?
Yeah.
But yeah, he played 3 chords, and it
SGC.
I want to know if that was our neighbor because Thursday night. We could hear someone playing guitar on the other side of the wall.
And it's really going to make me laugh if I've been screaming about this the whole time and that dude's still over there.
I think he's gone.
Okay.
I think
most SGC people are gone by now.
Yeah.
We probably should be gone by now, but we also did the Spoonie Riffs thing, which was kind of funny because I think Noah only thought he had like 30 minutes because he prepared 30 minutes of material where he riffed on. He started with a clip of what was it called, Wildstar?
Oh, Wildstar by the same people that did the Dragon Strike.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a sequel to the Dragon Strike video, which if you haven't watched anything of Spoonies and you are not opposed to watching anything of Spoonies, that's what I recommend you watch because he just sort of rips the whole thing into it. And it stars Malibu from like American Gladiator. That's like one of the literally that's who it is. I thought he was joking about it at first. And then, but anyway, so he played a clip of that, and we were talking about that, and then he did
Final Fantasy Unlimited.
The Final Fantasy Unlimited, the first episode.
That was called, yeah.
Which was weird, and there was no real context for it.
It's just bizarre, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And I thought it was kind of perfect to do a riff on, because it's so bizarre, and you have no idea what's happening, and weird crap is going on and is not explained at all, and I felt like I was more confused at the end of the episode than at the beginning of the episode, and that...
And what did he do after that? He had something else after that.
Oh...
He had something else prepared right after that. What did I keep you for?
Obviously not my memory. What did he do?
Well,
that was last night.
I know. He had something prepared after that, and then he did a whole bunch of other videos that he hadn't prepared any material for, but he's like, I've got an hour, well, screw this, we're just going to watch all this stuff.
And we watched that horrible Guide to the Internet from 1995 with this guy's trackball mouse was like the size of a pool ball. It was awesome, but horribly boring.
It was it cut out in the middle, and he was like, "Technology saved us."
We were saved by technological difficulties.
And then we went on to, there was like a Chuck E. Cheese training video for the guy who's in the Chuck E. Cheese suit, and there was what else did we watch? Sega. There was a Sega thing about the whole.
Which I didn't think the Sega thing was that bad. It was just more dated because it was this is 1990.
The one that was awful was the Star Fox one. The Star Fox.
I actually liked the Star Fox.
It was cute, but it was also like
it's nostalgic for me. I loved Star Fox.
No,
64.
the thing is, the Star Fox 64 thing was funny because it had like Sega, a guy wearing a Sega shirt and a guy wearing a Sony shirt, and they kidnapped a test pilot from Nintendo to torture him, and they were torturing a little Mario. It was really kind of a bizarre thing, but I know he was recording it, so that if you're wildly curious about
I'm not sure exactly how they did it, but I think anything that happened on the 2 main stages was streamed.
Right, so maybe you've all
seen it.
So I don't know
if they're going to archive those or not.
They'll probably put it on a DVD or something, I imagine. But I know that's what they did for the other one. What else? And that was like, we ate Pizza Hut last night, and then we went to they were doing a rave.
Oh my god.
Well, okay, it was on the schedule. It said DJ Cutman Dance Party, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive, but I was thinking about. I was imagining something that was like an actual dance party, like people dancing to music. And then we're in the line, and we were spaced out, and the hotel guy goes, "This is for a rave. Y'all need to bunch up." And I'm like, wait, rave?
All the kids, and I say kids around us because we were like the 4 oldest people in line.
We
it
were
felt
not
like
the 4 oldest people in line.
But
well, we were up there though.
We were up there.
Yeah.
But all the kids around us were like talking to like rave, and I'm like, oh.
Wait, I don't do ecstasy.
I didn't take the drugs for this.
I didn't bring Benadryl. What am I supposed to do? What?
Yeah, maybe if we had like Benadryl
and then
drink. We were not drunk enough for it either.
And then
so we like went in and we were like,
We got drunk early. That was the problem.
We
had gotten drunk like at 5 o'clock, so that by the time it got to be midnight, we had already come down, and we tried to get back up, but old people.
Yeah.
It's harder to do.
But we didn't have enough booze, I think, to get back because we drank so much of it earlier that we really needed more vodka if we were gonna get drunk again.
Well, and that one really kind of killed me too because we were like, well, there's not gonna be that much of a line, so we'll go there right around time. We actually ended up getting down there a little bit late, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they still didn't open the doors until like 30 minutes.
Right,
so
12:30,
it was like, oh well, I was drunk enough for this.
Yeah, by the time we actually opened it, we was really gone.
Yeah, like
so. It was a lot of kids playing with glowy, flashy things, like they had glowing nunchucks,
flashy things,
and wands and things, and spinning them, and
one hit you.
One idiot kid hit me with his nunchucks, which was not cool. And then there was about 20-30 people up in the front near the stage jumping up and down.
And the quietest dubstep music I've ever heard in my entire life.
That's why I don't know why you're saying y'all are like old and everything. It's just like, no, turn it up. Turn it up. It's
I'm just saying, it was like every kid to me looked to be about 15, and it was like, yeah, let's go to a rave, and it's like, wow.
Well, it was like a pretend rave. It was
the
basic rave I've ever
the
been
beginner's guide to how to rave.
Not even that. Yeah. It's like, I don't even know what it is.
And in typical
There's some
fashion,
hilarious
they had moved the chairs up against the walls, and they had nerds just sitting in the chairs.
And the chairs
were
audience,
full. That's why.
The chairs were full of people.
Why would you go? If you're just going to sit
Because you want to tell people, you want to hashtag it on Twitter that you were there or whatever,
Yeah, DJ Cutman.
Yes.
Cutman. He fucking said Cutman himself.
Cutman.
So it's Cutman.
I said it because they said it.
As you can see, we've had a bit of a debate on this. I don't know why.
DJ Cutman himself said, "Hi, I'm DJ Cutman."
I fully acknowledge that being like Mega Man, it should be Cutman. But I see the words DJ and I say Cutman. I don't know.
Bring me the Cutman file.
I only persisted in saying Cutman because they were bitching about it so much.
Yeah, that's exactly why I said
exact
it.
way.
She gotta balance it out.
Like if you pronounce me on the pronunciation of Jif, I'm gonna continue to call it Jif until the end of fucking time.
But anyway, I'm not having that discussion.
But we were there for like maybe 20 minutes.
I don't even know if it was that long.
Maybe, yeah.
And, like Jack was the first one who was like,
he was like,
this
I'm going. So I was like, well, I'm gonna, because
lame.
at the same time they were doing the Mario Party After Dark, and if you hear anybody talk about Mario Party After Dark, they're like, oh my god, if you see nothing else, you have to see this.
Any of the After Dark, they're like, man, if you've never been to an After Dark, you gotta go. You gotta see this. It's the best time of your life.
And I have to say, okay, I love Mario Party as a game. I love that it's the type of game that you're in the lead and then all of a sudden you're in dead last. I love the way that game works. But we went in there and it was 4 dudes playing a game.
And the thing that surprised me about it is, in all honesty, out of all the things we saw this weekend, that was the fullest thing.
It was very full.
Because it was packed,
so
and there were people standing in the back.
What we didn't get to go to I guarantee you the Cinemassacre panel was more full because
probably, yeah, that's probably
was
true.
the main stage was all the way at the back of the hotel, and they said the line went all the way to the check-in at the front of the hotel.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you that panel filled up more so than this one, but After Dark was really full. Especially for something that didn't start until 11:30 midnight.
Well, and every other panel that we went to was like maybe half
We went
full.
to 2 panels.
Yeah. I
Every
didn't go
other
to any,
panel we
other
went
than
to.
sneaking into Mario Party After Dark.
Well, so what was it? Because I was already up in the room.
It was 4 dudes on a stage playing Mario Party, and the audience was cheering
The
them
audience
on
was
and
going nuts.
telling
for
them,
it.
because it's like in the game you have a choice of which way to go. They were trying to tell them where to go.
I think it's like you got to be invested in it or something. That's just
Maybe if you really know
you
the guys.
like you said earlier on in this thing, none of us are really big Screw Attack fans, so that's kind of the asterisk that I had in my head the whole time. It's like, yeah, this is kind of lame, asterisk. Look at the bottom, what's the asterisk note? Oh, well, it's probably not if you're into the thing that the fucking convention is named after.
I know they've got
So,
like some Screw Attack people here. Like I saw the director of Awesome again this year. That guy that wears that shirt.
Yeah,
You remember him from?
Well, I think he's just a con guy. I don't think he's.
I know, but I mean, I'm sure there's some people you can get behind if
there
they're
was
playing a
Virtual
video
Plus
game.
here.
Friends Plus, yeah.
There was James was here, right?
James and Mike were both here, yeah. Like I said, the Cinemassacre panel was full. I guarantee it. That's why I was I've seen their Q&As so many times that I was like, I'm not gonna line up and be in that. No, I'm okay.
I was actually I was kind of surprised at how not full Spoonie's panels were, because last time we came to him they were kind of full.
Well, but he's also had that fallout
I guess,
since then,
he's had
so
some fallout.
that might be part of it.
Yeah. Well, and he's been struggling to keep up his volume and stuff too, I think. So, if you watch the Rips video, you see someone smoking in the front row. That's us. We had the e-cigarettes. We had the e-cigarettes, and I didn't realize that the camera was right behind us.
It was directly behind us.
So it was totally if I had realized the camera was back there, I wouldn't have done that. But we had the e-cigarettes. There was no one in front of us except for Spoonie's up on the dais. So I thought nobody's gonna. I mean, I'm just blowing it at empty air and it's circulating. So whatever. It does not smell as bad as some of the people in this room.
It actually helped some of the people in the room.
Well, it's like watermelon. It's whatever. And we weren't the only people there with e-cigs, so but yeah, I was blowing it, and then he went to go get his camera afterwards, and I was like, oh fuck, maybe I should email him. I don't know. I'm so sorry. It's just e-cigarette smoke. I'm bad.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. Yeah. It probably won't even pick up on camera. It's not that. It's just water vapor. Yeah.
Well, it's not as thick as regular smoke.
Yeah, it's water vapor. And when I realized how much smoke I was putting out, I kind of if you hold it in your mouth for a minute, it doesn't make any smoke. So, I tempered that later. But yeah, I was just puffing it up.
They went to 2 panels. We didn't go to any.
This was, I'm sure, this was not the convention we really needed to be at. I think that's part of the problem is that we should have found a convention we were more interested in.
When
the experience that I had of it, I think I could get at a local used game store.
Right.
Exactly.
Or an arcade if you actually still had those.
Because once again, asterisk. I really don't care about the Screw Attack personalities.
And I noticed the guy that was really cool that we met Friday. His name is Jeremy or Mr. Y. He has an Engage show. I'll put a plug on there.
Yeah.
But he was clearly a Screw Attack fan. And so he'd be like, oh, there's so-and-so. Oh, there's and I'm like, oh, is it? Okay, cool. Because it was I didn't really know these guys. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to this panel and that panel. So clearly somebody, he got a ton out of this. I could even, because I followed him on Twitter and he's been all excited. But for us, it's kind of okay, let's play some games, whether they're tabletop or video games.
Really, if we'd had
and of course drinking.
If we'd had a bunch of board games and a PS3 or something, and enough booze, we wouldn't need to left the room.
Right.
That's kind of how our thing went. So.
Yeah. This has been a fun vacation weekend for us, but we don't know if we'll necessarily go back to Screw Attack specifically.
God,
I'd like to do a con I'm more interested and
Right.
more, maybe interested in more people being there.
Yeah, something that's a little bit more of a generic video game con, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more
You know,
generic.
less
Yeah, well,
tied
and
into
that's,
this or
I
that
mean,
personality.
if anyone out there knows of one, please correct me. But from what I've seen, it's like MagFest is largely the guy with the glasses and retroware. It's kind of like they have, I mean, they focus on the music, but as far as the guests, those are the two that I usually see. And then obviously this is Screw Attack, so it's them. They also had some retroware guys and some YouTube guys here too. But I think those are the only video game, well, besides PAX, but PAX is huge.
Yeah.
PAX is like San Diego Comic-Con for video games. It's friggin' huge. But I would love to have, if there was like another small-time video game, arcade, you know, I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Or even like a board game convention would be more fun. Cause like,
there are usually a lot of tabletop small-time conventions. You just gotta find them.
Well, it's just because I know my friend John, they went to a board game convention not all that long ago, and that was just like you went around and played games all the time. So.
Yeah.
And to me, from what we did for most of the weekend, that would have been
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
better than this because
Right.
we spent most of our free time in that game room
Absolutely.
playing board games and actually having a lot of fun. And it makes me feel like the old guy at the convention.
I don't know. We spent equal time between the board game room, the vendor area, and
the arcade.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, we weren't.
And I have to say, like, I mean, there were some young people here. There was also some older people. I thought it was a pretty good mix.
Yeah, I think it was
overall.
mostly, like, it just really wasn't our scene quite as much. So, again, I think if you're, like, really into Screw Attack, it'd be a fun thing to do, but it just wasn't our deal, man.
And you know, this is also the first year that they came back after hiatus, so it's possible that each year they'll get bigger. They may get some more guests, you know, more varied guests.
Yeah, more generic games, like more of the maybe bigger indie
like because I mean, like there was a thing in the program guide that said if you have an arcade cabinet to bring to 2014, we will let you in for free.
Yeah.
So clearly they're looking for more cabinets. They're trying to expand on the thing. Anyone magically finds this and you're taking suggestions, put friggin' Rock Band out on the game room floor.
Yeah. Oh, yes, please.
Like, that is karaoke for nerds.
Well, and you had it at the last one, and then they didn't have it.
Yeah, there was like a DJ here, but we couldn't believe there wasn't like Rock Band or anything.
Well,
they had Connect, but that's so not the same thing, you know?
Well, and the Connect, it was a lot of just one person playing it, and it was kind of like, and that was all on the big screen stuff. So I kind of I shied away from that because I don't want to like go up there and make a total ass of myself.
Well, you know, if they'd done the Rock Band on the big screen,
I totally would have made an ass of myself for everybody to watch. But the Rock Band and that sort of thing's my thing. So I can't believe, and that's a 4-person game.
Right.
That is really
actually
easy
with
to
Rock Band
swap
3,
out.
you can have like 5 or 6 people because you can have backing vocalists and you can have keyboard. So you could have so many different people coming up and playing and switching out and everything.
Yeah, I was
no-brainer.
really shocked not to see Rock Band again this year.
The video game area sort of felt more like an afterthought than anything. I felt like that maybe they didn't put this, and maybe they just had trouble getting people in video games and blah blah blah.
Once again, it may be the type of games we like too, because there was a setup that I'm pretty sure it was StarCraft.
Yeah.
And then there was another area that it had to be Halo.
Well, if you looked like
so if you're into those type of games. There were, you know, you probably could have just sat down.
Also, if you looked at one of the StarCraft computers, like someone ran over and grabbed it real quick.
I was just curious to see what it was, and the dude like ran over, like, no, don't you dare take my spot. And I'm like,
he nearly knocked you over, man.
I have no interest in this game.
Yeah.
Not to mention that there were like plenty of other seats. It was like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it all depends on what you like and what you're looking for, but. I think for us, we're looking for something slightly different than what was here.
So what picture are you going to put up of me?
I don't know. Maybe I'll take a picture of you of your... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you come in. I don't know. Why don't you come over here and show the people your lovely face?
Okay.
Whoa!
All right, there you go.
What?
I hope the autofocus was able to handle that. Or maybe it'd be even better if he was just a blur as he came through.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you're blocking me. See, isn't that nice? See, it doesn't hurt to be here. So this was your first con ever?
Yes, it was.
So, I mean, like, what is your general impression as someone who's never experienced it before?
As a gamer, it was okay.
Come on, you get up on stages and you sing all the time. Do you need to sing it? Can you sing about your experience?
No, see, I'm giving you what you wanted and nothing more. I wanted to get
Like, seriously,
This is all you get.
No.
like Angie's gonna put this out as all the same people who've already seen you in your underwear.
Yeah,
so.
I don't care.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not my underwear even, it's somebody else's. Alright, that's enough for me.
Oh. But, I mean, like, I think the best part of being at cons is, like, the random encounters you have with people. And yes, sometimes some of them are trying to promote too hard, or some of them are really socially awkward.
There were some really,
But you have some really awesome, fun conversations with strangers. And that is really why I would recommend, even if it's not necessarily your cup of tea, get out there and go to a con that's near you and just try it.
Yeah.
Just see if, because the chances are you're going to find somebody that you can have a cool conversation with.
Yeah, it was, it was fun. There was lots of, like, little encounters where people were, just sort of brief conversations where people were really cool. There were lots of really nice people, and there was, like, every once in a while I'd, like, run into a guy, and, like, I started chatting with this guy, and then I found out that he was, like, some kind of big, like, I don't know who he is, but, like,
okay.
Someone came up and was like, will you sign this? And I was like, I gotta go.
Well, it's good that they don't have a big head about it if you can
like,
sit there and chat with
well,
you.
I had no idea who the hell he was.
Right.
I don't know, but it seemed like, and it seemed like some of even the bigger guys, like, if you stopped and chatted with them, they were really willing to.
From like, I mean, because I recognized a couple of the Screw Attack guys just looking from the program guide.
Yeah.
And whenever I would see them talking to people, they always seemed really open and friendly and approachable.
Yeah.
And, not like a hurry up and get out of my way kind of thing.
The fans kind of bother you more than, the actual people do, because it's like, don't you know who that was? It's like, yeah, it was a guy I was talking to.
Yeah.
A guy who happens to do videos on the internet.
No, he's like Quivering Larry 2001 or whatever. It's like, well, good for him, but no, it's just a guy I was talking to just now.
So, Greg and I are gonna have to get on the road here pretty quick, so I guess we need to really wrap up. But we had fun.
Oh, I had a blast.
I mean, I guess that, like we're saying, like, yeah, there were some things that weren't perfect, and, but I think overall we still really had a good time. Because if nothing else, it was the 4 people in this room hanging out.
Yeah, I sort of say that was the most fun I had, was just hanging out with you guys, drinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the booze helped.
And
booze
I
helps.
think we're already saying there's probably going to be another meetup of us in October.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, so.
That may be our 3rd video, we'll see. But yeah, it's...
Definitely get out and go to a con, though.
Yeah.
You're definitely right on that one.
I do think it's something that, especially if you're the type of person who feels, gee, what could that be?
Jack is opening the last lonely beer.
Is it the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Chug.
Okay.
Oh, Lord, y'all are leaving. I'm the one who's going to have to deal with them like that. What I was saying was, if you feel socially awkward, if you don't have a lot of friends in real life, or whatever,
Then you should drink a lot of beer.
It's not going to be just you at the con.
This is the place to be, because you can turn to anybody, and if you both like video games, you're going to be able to talk about video games. You're going to be able to talk about...
Maybe a very stilted and awkward
Chances are someone
but you
here...
will be able to have one with somebody.
You'll probably watch Star Trek, or whatever it is, because it's just the type of people that come to these things, and you'll feel comfortable. You'll feel so much more comfortable than you do when you go to a store, or you go to work or school or whatever.
Well,
chances are you're going to have something in common with almost everybody.
You cannot be judged here. It was nothing but nerds,
yes.
Myself included.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like an outcast. You feel like I'm one in a sea of many.
Right.
So, you just can't be judged here. Different people had different fandom things. Like I said, there were the anime people. I don't really do much of the anime, but there were obviously people that were really into it. So they flew their anime flag. And there were people talking to them about it that obviously knew what the hell they were talking about. And I just kind of went, that looks cool. I had no idea what you're talking about.
You have to appreciate the effort they went through
to get,
definitely.
Definitely.
So, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
So I guess that's our farewell.
Yes.
And we'll see you when you see it.
Till next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.